Just how has that been this week, and how have you divvied things up with those guys?
They've been working hard. They've been splitting the reps equally between those two guys.
Is there more? Is there kind of a sense of urgency now? Like, if Justin loses his helmet on the play, one of those guys is going to get his first college snap. Is there like urgency to get those guys
Sure,
ready?
they're both on high alert, as they've been really through the entire season. Again, we always talk about preparation and the process of becoming a starter and becoming a champion, and they all prepare as if they're going to start. And no point this season so far has really any of them been off the shelf.
And what do you think about how Justin responded to having his job taken away and going back in? I mean, it seemed like he went in there with kind of a fighter's attitude.
Sure, he doesn't blink. He's a competitor, and this program is built on handling adversity, and he handles the adversity. And as a competitor, he's going to step up to the challenge.
One of the things Coach Jones talked about in assessing him was how he looked like he was more decisive in that second half. How do you speak with him about finding a balance between that, being aggressive and also trying to take care of the ball?
Decisive is the word we use all the time, and we have a phrase we use: "Is he open?" If he's open, be decisive. Get rid of the ball on rhythm.
Has he, in your opinion, been at a tendency to just be too conservative? And if so, does that just come hand in hand with being a new guy, you think?
There are times what he needs to do is develop consistency and decisiveness, and that comes with continued comfort in the pocket and continued comfort with the timing of the offense and the timing of the receiver corps, throwing the ball on rhythm. There are times, if you look back at the first 3 games, he's been very decisive and throwing the ball on rhythm, and then there are other times he hasn't been. So we've been talking about being decisive and throwing the ball on rhythm.
And is part of that, we also with quarterback knows, but he's working with, his most productive receivers are 3 freshmen and a sophomore. Is that a big part of, kind of whatever limitations might be?
The game's about timing and spacing. It's always about timing and spacing. So developing a rhythm with those guys is important.
What do you think of the running game overall last week? I saw that neither Rajon or Marlon had 4 yards to carry. I know it's a good defensive front, but how did you evaluate how the guys did?
We weren't very productive at all in any aspect of the game. Our first down efficiency was poor at 35%. Our second down efficiency was hovering around 50%. As is always the case, as I talked about last week, we need to generate more first downs on first and second. We work at it every day.
Has it just been kind of finding that rhythm with all the inexperience that's been the problem that you've developed moves?
Yes. Again, we emphasize it. It's making the difficult catch. It's breaking the tackle. It's having great ball location when the window for the quarterback is small. So all those things go into making plays and having explosives, and we'll improve on it.
Some of the offensive line guys said they weren't really pleased with the way they played Saturday. When you broke that down, how much of that was what Florida was doing versus the guys just not making excuses?
You're always, whether it's the offensive line, receivers, running backs, quarterback, tight end, coaches, we're always going to self-evaluate. It starts by looking in the mirror, and I think when you come out of last Saturday with a loss, you're always going to look in the mirror and say, what can I have done better? And you're going to find many things to improve.
Coach, how hamstrung are you as a play caller when teams just don't fear making plays down the field? Are you noticing, Coach Jones talked about it being a copycat game? Are teams with 4 games on film, are you just noticing more and more guys in the box?
It's been like that throughout the course of the year. People understand right now the strength of our offense is our offensive line.
And does that challenge you as a play caller?
Sure. Whatever your strengths are, if we preach balance for sure, and whatever your strengths are, people are gonna have a plan to counteract that. So it's always a challenge, whether you're throwing the ball over the yard, whether you're very efficient running the ball, whether you're very efficient on first and second down. Teams are going to scheme you, and you just got to find the answers.
Anything stand out to you with that South Alabama defense you've seen so far?
They're very, very aggressive. They pressure more than 50% of the time. They are going to bring it from every direction, and they like to dictate. I don't want to say the tempo of the game, but they like to dictate their mentality, which is an aggressive discipline.
Coach, were you guys going to this game with a plan to play it back up just so one of those guys has gotten his feet wet?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Will you go into a game, this game, with a definite plan to get one of those freshmen some reps just so he has gotten his feet wet?
I wouldn't say that that's the case.
When you look at trying to generate more explosive plays, I guess who are the key guys that you need to see those from? Is that Marquez, Josh, or?
I'd say Both running backs, Marlon Lane and Rajon Neal. I think Marquez, Josh, you hit the nail on the head. Alton Howard had a couple of big plays, but we need more from our entire offense in that regard.
Is that something that for you as a play caller we have to be more unique to try and find more splash plays, or is it just keep sticking with what you're doing, repetition, it'll come with experience?
Yeah, we talk about, it starts frankly with not beating ourselves. Making sure that we're in the right position to make those plays, and when those opportunities present themselves, making sure we take advantage.
Coach Gillespie talked about the running backs being okay now with taking a 3-yard gain. Have you seen that kind of step in maturity from them?
I sure have. Rajon and Marlon both have done a better job as the season has progressed in finishing their runs north and south and with physicality.
And how important is that for you guys? You guys always talk about being in the right place on first and second down, so on third you're not in a bad spot. Just how important is it that they're okay with that first and 3-yard gain?
Coach Jones talks about inches make the champion, and every inch, every yard counts. And whether it's turning what might be a 0-yard gain into a 2-yard gain, or turning a 10-yard gain into a 15 or 20-yard gain, we're going to emphasize every inch we can get and every yard we can get.
Mike, the technique where you teach the offensive lineman to stay still when there's an offside, what is the rationale on that? Where did y'all kind of come up with that?
The rationale is that we do not want to give any doubt to the officials as to who jumped off sides. Also, to a certain extent, it catches the defense off guard.
Is there any concern after what happened last week? A quarterback got hit pretty hard, the bad play with offensive pass interference. Is there any concern or rethinking of that?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Mike, where are you? Your defense is challenging your run game because the passing game hasn't had much success. What can you do to combat that?
Keep improving on a daily basis and find more creative ways to run the ball and work on improving the pass game.
And it looked like a couple of wide receivers were close to making some big catches versus Florida. Do you think nerves played any a factor in some of the drops last Saturday?
I can't tell you for sure what the factors were in guys making or not making plays. I'm not inside their head as much as I'd like to be. Obviously, we got young guys playing on a big stage, but they've made plays in the past and they'll make plays in the future.
Where are you in terms of the tight end, in terms of compared to what you would like to be?
In regards to
just are you able to do what you would like with a tight end with the personnel circumstances you have
we're
now?
using Brendan Downs. We're utilizing Brendan Downs' skill set that best suits him. He's a physical player, and he's got good speed. Not necessarily. I'll put it this way: the first time that I met with Brendan Downs, when we got here December 7th, 8th, 9th, I don't know what the date was. Yeah. He sat in my office and self-proclaimed said, "Coach, I'm not much of a receiving threat. I'm more of a blocker." Yeah. I think he was selling himself short because he's got very good speed. He's got good hands. The point being, he's a very physical player, and he'll stick his face in the fan, and he'll get down and dirty, and I like that about him. We talk about a mentality of toughness and physicality, and Brendan plays that